Good evening, everybody. It's a rainy night here in Pittsburgh. Not unusual for Pittsburgh. All right. I guess we've got everybody in. As we can see, we're in a nice steady uptrend in this market. Same scenario as we came out of here. Now, one of the things the Japanese race traders always profess is let the market tell you what the market is doing. Right now, the market's telling us it goes up, has a pullback, goes up, has a pullback, goes up, and I would suspect that if we're in the up is probably going to be somewhat the same magnitude, so it looks like there's probably another 2, 3, 4 days to the upside yet. And the NASDAQ had a nice steady uptrend, pulled back. Now we're right back up into that trend channel again. So it may just kind of just keep slowly moving up. As of now, we can see there isn't anything that is creating any severe doubt in anybody's mind as far as the selling. Any selling that occurs is very minor, usually first things in the morning, and then it starts back up again. And essentially what this is doing is the longer this trend keeps persisting, the more confidence it's going to build into most investors that this market's going to go up forever. And we're in new highs, and it's going to go to 20,000. All the same rhetoric we saw when it hit the highs last time, that this market could just keep going. So as long as the steady uptrend is in progress, stay with it. But when you start seeing exuberance come into this market, that's when you want to start taking some profits. Crude oil seems to be trying to bounce, but hasn't gotten yet back up through the 200, sitting right here at the T-line and the 200. Interest rates, bond prices keep moving down slowly. Means interest rates are creeping up slowly. What else we got? Gold. Yeah. Cannot see the chart. Yeah, just try going out and coming back in. Just apparently a glitch in your connection. I hate when that happens. Gold seems to be trying to base in here. So if it comes back up above the T-line, probably want to be a buyer. Silver, same scenario, trying to base along the T-line here. Long-legged doji. They start trading it positive, I'm sure they're going to pop it back up to either the 200 or the 50, and corresponding with this downtrending channel. Soybeans, slow uptrend, but still in this sideways channel or this pennant. Hasn't broken out yet. And let's see what we got. Feeder cattle keeps getting pummeled. Still in a downtrend. And live cattle took a pop to the upside today. Well, what happened here? GLEJ3. But still hasn't been able to get up above or close up above the T-line. The Stochastic's still not in the oversold area. All right. Let's see if we can get everybody in here all right. Yeah, there's some arrows on your chart that will, if you click on it, will expand your chart to your full screen. Let's see, what else? The dollar. Did a little backing and filling today. The British pound did what they call a meeting line, or is doing a meeting line. I guess this is Those, see how they, if I make it big enough, then we can see. See where they were taking it down, then they gapped it down and brought it up, basically closed it right at the same level. This tells you if they open up positive, they've reversed it. The euro, trying to do some bottoming here. A little bullish harami and Swiss franc. Bullish harami. And the Japanese yen. Still looks like it's heading down. Let's see, gold, we haven't forgotten anything. All right. All right, what's been effective for holding on to some of these positions is the fact that here's a fry pan bottom, and IRWD just won't let it close below the T line. It just keeps moving. Same scenario with UNXL. Other than that day right there, which was right on the T line, then they did a kicker signal, told you there was more upside coming out of this little fry pan bottom. Kind of a cradle pattern with an inverted hammer. What did you need to see on an inverted hammer? A positive open. That positive open told you they couldn't get it back down through the T line. Excuse me. This uptrend's been very nice because it doesn't close below the T line. ABMD. Same scenario. ABMD. Coming out of this little bottom. Only day that it closed below the T line was on that big, huge day. And then they popped it right back up again. This one obviously is heading for the 200-day moving average. And ATVI was one that we recently recommended. Coming out of this little fry pan bottom or J-hook type pattern. Notice the pullbacks though. Pullbacks are very indecisive. Now, if they can open this positive, kind of that double doji setup, still have a good uptrend in this one. CZR, one that a lot of people are in. As long as it stays above the T line, you stay with this one. Notice the kickers or the belt hold signal that kept or added some force to this upside. FCN, bouncing right off the 50. Back up above the T line. If this opens positive, you've got a J-hook pattern set up. Notice the scoop pattern. Big, flat handle, scoop, slingshot effect. GMED was one that we recommended. If it gets up through this level, nothing's stopping it for a while. Keep an eye on this one on a positive open tomorrow. And TIBX. Anytime you see a big kicker signal, there's some consolidation, but look for it to, if it opens positive, they're definitely taking it up here to the 200. Strong kicker signal is usually the beginning of a big, strong uptrend. A definite change of investor sentiment. INFA, same scenario. Not same scenario. I mean same scenario. There's a scoop type pattern. They opened it lower, brought it right back up again. If this one opens positive, they could be breaking out in a good, strong price move. BSX also, has this rounding bottom. It consolidated today, but came right back up. If this opens positive, notice what it's forming right here. This little wedge formation. Also has this fry pan bottom. So if it opens positive, it's breaking out of the wedge and continuing the fry pan bottom. That could get you picking up some speed very quickly. SPWR got out of it a few days ago, or recommended getting out of it. What is that? SPWR. But it had a strong day today. You know, it looks stronger on the other chart. Get ready to, I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this if it starts moving up from this level. Because obviously what they're showing is that they don't want to take this back down below the T line. So you had a big flat area, and bam. Now you're getting into this flat area again. Look for the bam one more time. And recommended this one, Unisys. Open lower and traded lower today, but notice where it traded to, right back to the T-line. This is a big series of indecisive trading. Anytime you see that many dojis or hammers and opening and closing right about where they opened each day, that's indecision. And when they move it in one direction, that tells you the decision's been made. They're probably taking this one up higher. I'd be looking at buying this one on anything that came up through the open of today in tomorrow's trading. All right, let's see some other good-looking ones that we've got out there right now. And these a lot of these are coming right out of the chat room. Here's ALLT, also a scoop-type pattern that failed at the 50. It's pulled back. You've got 5 or 6 flat trading dojis and a bullish engulfing. This one you want to be buying on a positive open. Number 1, number 2, if it gets through the 50, you want to be buying because that tells you this scoop is now breaking out. There's a gap up here to fill. That could have a good fast move, a slingshot effect. Neon, same scenario, kind of a scoop type pattern, and it's starting to break out. This one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying. And you want to get into something bigger, Bed Bath & Beyond. That's not quite the scoop pattern that I thought it was going to be. What was I looking at? Oh, I know what I was looking at. It was more the cradle pattern down here. So we got a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, possibly getting us to the 200, probably even higher. And PKT, another flat handle, starting to scoop. If this one opens positive, they could pop it right back up to the trading range, and if they break it through the 50, you've got the slingshot effect. What do you mean when you talk about a positive open, and how long do you wait to decide is an open positive? Tomorrow, a positive open is that we're not waking up to the pre-market futures showing the Dow down 60 and the NASDAQ down 15. Positive open is that they're still relatively flat or slightly down. Slightly down meaning they could take it down 20, 30 points, but then start bringing it back up. Or the pre-market futures trading positive and the stocks opening positive. So that's my idea of a positive open, is that there's nothing that's changing the I want to say investor sentiment of this trend, that it's that we're not all of a sudden seeing a big, huge sell-off on an open, that everything's moving in the right direction. Not quite a doji in UIS. These are the dojis. I mean, and this one's just kind of a little pullback day, but the fact that they pulled it right back smack dab to the T-line and took it back up tells you something. Emma, if I buy a stock that after a few minutes has been opening and trading positive, and I buy it, and then 10 minutes later it starts selling off, I've still got to go with what was the chart telling me. If the chart's telling me it was time to be buying, especially if they opened a positive, you just sit with it. Unless it's all of a sudden it's done something severe and come like start backing off way below the open of the candle that told you the bulls were in control. But I'm not so concerned about buying a position right at the exact smack best level of the day. If I see a chart that looks good, I don't want to be spending all day long just trying to get into the position. I want to get into the position, and as long as it doesn't break the aspect of a buy signal being confirmed, yeah, I'd buy stuff and it backs off. It might even back off for a day or two, and then then remember the signal is what gets us moving, or gets it moving eventually. Okay, what else we got here? What have we done? Yes. Oh, we backtracked a little bit. Did we do PKT? Yes, we did that one. Okay. SKUL. Well, shush butts. What was I looking at? Huh. I have no idea why I brought this one up. So I will rapidly move on to the next one before somebody asks me that exact same question. Randy. Maybe I made the chart too small or something. Randy's got a nice rounding bottom. There's a left-right combo staying above the T-line, pushing toward this area. Now, a lot of times when you get close to this area and you still have juice left in the stochastics, if they gap it up, you want to be buying immediately, because the buyers are stepping in knowing there's a resistance level right here. But if they're gapping it up knowing there's a resistance level right here, that means they don't suspect that or expect that resistance level to be a factor. That means they're taking it higher. Randy pays a 9% dividend. I didn't know that. That's roundies. All right. And Chuck, how long have they been paying those dividends? GLF. Long time? All right. Well, that one's GLF. That's a nice breakout of a series of dojis now through the moving averages. This one could head right back up and test the top of the channel. Q-Core has now come back alive. Nice J-hook pattern. Now notice exactly what this has done. Rounding bottom, breakout. Where did it break out to? Right up to the 200. Close enough to say they failed at the 200. Pulled back. This case, they pulled back into the T-line area, but actually supported on the 20. Now you had a doji sandwich that brought you back up above the T-line. What do we know about a doji sandwich? That even after the doji sandwich, there's still going to be some more upside. And okay, now we're getting cranked up. Randy's Owens, Illinois. S.OI. Nice J-hook pattern breakout. Now the reason you want to stick with the patterns is because all boats will rise in a rising tide, but a J-hook is usually an indication they had a strong price move, profit taking, and the strong price move is still in progress. So if this is our wave one, moving about 7 points, this should take us up into the $34, $35 area. P10 is another one. Very nice J-hook pattern. Wave one, wave two, wave three could be another 6 points, 7 points to the upside. TTI, we caught some of this early today. Whoopsie-doo. Couple things happening here. 3 things. Hammer just touched the 50. Then we had a close above the T-line. Today we had a gap up, breaking this out through this level and taking you right up into new territory. So you've got a breakout, you got a J-hook pattern, your stochastics still have a lot of juice left in it. You've got a gap up from some indecisive trading. This one looks very attractive for a, if it opens positive tomorrow, you want to be, well, what's all that? You want to be buying this, breaking out into new territory, following a gap up. And let's see. NVDO. That's S.NVDO. Well, Shazam. Who keeps writing in here? Nothing ever. EV, another very nice J-hook pattern. Let's get rid of whatever that is. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. This is wave 1, which is about a 12-point move. This should take you up into the $51, $52 range. SNFCA. Doji, hammer, positive move up through the T-line. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. Just use the T-line as your stop. And AVO was the one that was brought to everybody's attention in the chat room today. Another nice little kind of rounding bottom breakout, a column reversal, big column, big column. If this one opens positive, gives you that slingshot effect, probably going to take you up to the 200. Here's wave 1, here's wave 2, with a slingshot effect starting out the other side. And see, INVN. Inverted hammer, bullish confirmation, gap up from the doji. Anytime you see a gap up from a doji in the oversold condition, remember, that's your best friend. That's going to have the possibility of making a high price move. Yeah, if you hold all your individual stocks to the end, we'll get to them. What usually will happen is when we get all done, I'll say, all right, Jim, do the double line. That's when you want to put in your individual stock requests. That keeps me from getting confused and slowing down. Not that I'm already confused and slowed down. VHS. Looks like it's had a little rest period in here with a cup and handle. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. All right, the insurance companies, for some reason, are picking up steam. This one has got a great J-hook pattern setup ready to go. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. It's got all the makings of a good J-hook pattern. And MTG, same scenario. And what's a J-hook? J-hook's prerequisite is a very strong price move. Moving from about 2.5 to 6 is a very strong price move. Now there's profit taking. It looks like the profit taking's over. So they open this one positive. Want to start buying, and then all you have to do is use this candle right here. The halfway point of this candle is your stop. It shouldn't close back below this level because that was the candle that told us the bulls are now coming back into the market. In Flex, slow rounding bottom, breaking out. This one you can be buying. Those rounding bottoms are your best friends also. REN, Russian export blend crude. No, that's not what we want. We want whatever REN is. Notice the belt hold. They took it up some more. Left-right combo, a breakout of this level, strong price move. Showing this not as a buy, but as an example of something. I'll figure it out. This is AVP, Avon Products. starting to pick up steam again. This one you can be buying on a positive open using the T-line as your stop tomorrow. Sand. This one, breaking the downward trend channel with bullish engulfing, doji, bullish confirmation. This one you could be buying. Right now use the T-line as your stop, but would suspect your first bounce is going to be back up to the 50. And IAG, one of the golds. This one is looking nice. Left-right combo, doji. This one looks very good for a doji sandwich setup. But if they open this positive, it's telling us they've broken this downward trend channel. They've broken through the T-line, and they're going to move it in the direction how they open it after a doji. So that one looks like a very good trade setup, especially for a doji sandwich and a breakout. FXCM, another rounding bottom, breaking out into new territory. Let's make this smaller so we can see what we're looking at. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 could be a good 4-point move. All right, the rounding bottoms are the ones that are producing very good profit potential, like we saw not too long ago in PCRX. Rounding bottom breakout, just stronger than bear's breath for the last 2 weeks. From 20 to 30, basically a 50% move. And right now we've got, oh, that was what we had, FXCM, that rounding bottom set up, as well as EFII, another rounding bottom about ready to break out to the upside. So if this opens positive, you want to buy it. Now people were going to say, well, it's already in the overbought condition. That's where these will usually break out, is when they're already in the overbought condition and the enthusiasm's coming back into them full steam. HOLI, nice scoop pattern setup. We like the scoop patterns because essentially they create this slingshot effect that usually gives you a very good price move. Just a mild slingshot coming out of a scoop. And MLNX has a good looking chart. Again, stochastics in the oversold area, doji, gap up through the moving averages. That's your best friend. That means they're going higher. SHLD has a scoop pattern. Sears holding, and notice how it got started with that doji gap up, your best friend. So not only do you have a good strong move, but you can see it's coming out of a pattern. So it gives you that much more confidence you're going to get the slingshot effect coming out of there. Ford Motor Company, not quite a scoop, but it's close enough to say, yes, you want to be buying this one, especially now that it's broken through this level. We should still be in a strong uptrend. Wave 1, wave 2, rather lengthy. Yeah, rather lengthy. This one you can continue to buy. This is ERJ, another rounding bottom setup. Remember, this is where the enthusiasm really starts blasting some of these up to the upside. Okay, what else we got here? Anytime you see something like this, where you've got a resistance level and they break it out, oh, pshaw. Let's see, hang on for 1 second, please. I'm playing nursemaid here. All right. Sorry about that. And let me see. Oh, we're looking for these breakouts. I mean, these become obvious, especially, notice what they did here. They closed down here and gapped it up. Doji, another positive day after a doji. So if you took the dojis out of here, what do you have? You have your flutter kicker is actually a kicker signal. And so if you're looking at something like that, there's WNC just now breaking out on a little gap up. This one should be a wave 1, wave 2, starting wave 3. Are these stocks? Yeah, most of these are stocks, obviously. And they can either be used for day trades or swing trades, or even long-term. Ford, for example, I wouldn't be afraid to be buying that one for long-term. And ACCO, downward trend channel, gap up, breaking through. So you got a fry pan bottom, strong price move. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 should be from approximately here to here is $2. From here to here, it takes you up around close to the $10 range. Okay, yeah, if I was looking at some of these, the ones that probably are going to get recommended for tomorrow, I would think TTI on this gap up breakout should have strong upside. RDN, J-hook patterns should be looked at. IAG, also, if it opens positive, good for a swing trade as well as a day trade because of the doji sandwich. EFII, rounding bottom, ready to break out. And ERJ, another rounding bottom, ready to break out. So those would probably be five top ones that I'd be looking at tomorrow. Let's see, I think, it was INVN. What was INVN? Let's see, INVN. That's a good looking chart. So, all right, let's see. Do we have any questions? If the market was not as strong as it has been, would you be looking for so many of these setups to return to the 200-day moving average? Probably not. We'd have a whole different scenario or analysis. But right now, remember, we have to do what the market is telling us, and the market is telling us it's in an uptrend. And a lot of these patterns, the longer there's no major change of investor sentiment, remember, the patterns are your very is a very good is much better to be in a pattern than just an uptrending stock because there's so much more force in it. I don't know. Where do I get information about the waves? Mara, you don't need information about the waves. If you're a swing trader, like I am, I'm not planning to hold the positions for any more than 2 to 10 trading days. So I'm just looking at the wave count. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. After this goes up and starts backing off, this becomes wave 1, wave 2, and I look for wave 3. Also, before I forget, we have 3 people signed up right now for the private training session in Houston on April 19th and 20th. If you're interested, we probably have one more spot, maybe 2, depending if we get a lot of little people. But we'll eat well, and I can pretty much guarantee that once you go through one of these sessions, you'll have a completely different viewpoint on how you invest. That you're now not reacting with the crowd, you're reacting against the crowd. Do you have an agenda? Dave, we start with the very basics, with the 12 major signals, starting with the doji. Now, you've seen it all. The only difference is, when we walk through it, we're taking every aspect of how they're being, how those signals are profitable, what indicators we work with, and as we're going through it, again, you've seen bits and pieces of it in here, but once it gets all into kind of a chronological order, it will start making a whole lot of sense of what you want to be looking for versus what you hear or what you think you've been taught through the years that is a good way to produce profits. Yeah, we'll have some good wine. So the agenda is we just spend 2 solid days starting with the 12 major signals, then the patterns, then the breakouts, the gaps, how to go through our exit and entry strategies, stop losses, and then the final day is when we take all this information, how do we scan effectively, and how, if we've got 60 good charts to look at for the next day, how do we narrow it down to the best 1 or 2? So we go through that whole process. Now, the process isn't to just show you what the signals and patterns are. While we're going through all this, you hear my constant rhetoric like you do in one of these sessions, so that your mind starts thinking in the manner of, all right, what am I looking for to make a good trade, so that your mind's eye is working for you, that you're looking at things to say, all right, when everything else looks bad and I see a buy signal, what are the probabilities of me making money with it? Well, if you look at the constant, I guess the one constant of candlesticks is the graphic depiction of investor sentiment, which doesn't change. And if you talk with most people out there, they're happy with 6, 8, 10% return annually. That's because whoever's running their money for them doesn't know how to time the market. If you ever have a money manager that says, oh, buy good quality stocks and hold long term because you can't time the market, get as far away from them as you can, because that means they don't know how to invest. They just want to go out and find good companies and stick you into them and hope for the best. And if you did that in the summer of 2008, you're still trying to catch up to where you were then with your long-term investing. Will the session info be available after? Yes, you'll get one of these private trading sessions. You get 12 months free to the website, and you get all the information you want off the website. Let's see. Can you review those patterns you like just in oversold conditions and those in overbought? That would take a while, but it's Mick. They're there. You've got 12 major signals, 6 bullish Harami, bullish engulfing, doji followed by a gap up, hammer signal. What else? Bullish kicker, morning star signal. And the opposite is the bearish Harami, the dark cloud, or I forgot the piercing signal on the buy side. The evening star signal. So there's only 6 you have to learn. Yep, we have good wine. You'll get fed very good dinners. And so my suggestion is not to take my word for it. I know there's a few people, or quite a few people in here, that have taken the private sessions. If you can track them down, just let them privately tell you what they thought, and let that be your guide. Cartech, yes. As you can see, Cartech makes some very good trades, and have Very, very enjoyable. Now, another thing is you've got 5 people you're going to be there with, and they kind of, in a lot of cases, they become your correspondents because you kind of learned all the same things at the same time, and it gives you a good idea of the names behind or the faces behind the names. Denise, we're trying to get that put together. The options training back is we are going to have to cancel the scanning session. We're trying to do it as fast as possible. My problem right now is my schedule up here because of my mother's situation, number one. And number two, Pat is making me revamp all the 12 major signal packages, which is taking just hours and hours and hours. So once I get that done, which I hope will be the end of this week, we will be getting the option training back on course. I apologize for the delay on that. It was just scheduling that we couldn't help. Oh, Peter, I don't even know how to bring 4X up on these. Yeah, I don't trade 4X because it's much easier for me just to trade the dollar or trade British pound. Just as easy to see what the British pound is doing and instead of trying to find which two are trying to move against each other. Any tips on determining when it is too late to enter a trade? Lots of good setups, but many seem too late to get in. Frank, let's see. A lot of people ask, let's see, what was it? For instance, I think we had people asking, was it too late to get into INFA the other day? And the answer is no, because the stochastics were just coming out of the oversold area, and this is the signal to tell you to buy, then that means there's more upside. Just because the signal that tells you to buy is fairly big doesn't mean that's the end of the trend. That tells you, notice how it came out of a scoop pattern here? That tells you that's just probably the beginning. So what you don't want to be looking at is saying, all right, is it too late to be buying up here? Yeah, if your stochastics have already moved from oversold to overbought coming out of that situation, yeah, it's probably too late. The only reason you want to be looking at it is because some people are happy with it. You've got to say, all right, if this was a good move, what caused this move? And this is where you want to start getting acclimated to when should I be buying. And it's usually when it doesn't look like there's any great activity going on, or somebody else is bad mouthing that position or that industry. Do you ever bring your roadshow to the East Coast? Cal, yes, I would. If anybody ever has a group of people they want to do a Saturday morning 2-hour session, I'll be glad to see America. All depends on where you are. I was up in Boston, I think about a year and a half ago. Yeah, I'll be glad to shoot over for a weekend. Gives me a chance to see faces that I don't see when I'm sitting here in front of the computer. Okay, I don't know whether Jess, I'll find that out. I think he's on Wednesday night. I'll just have to see what time he's. Let me see if I can get a hold of Abraham. That'll be too many. What are you seeing for the E-minis? Right now, I wouldn't be able to do anything more than tell you that as long as we're in an uptrend, you stay long. So now I used to trade the E-minis using candlesticks very effectively. Let's see, this is the 10-minute chart. And they work, the candlestick charts work just as effectively on a 1-minute chart, trading E-minis, wherever that may be. Well, that was a fine example. But, yeah, remember, the candlestick signals are the accumulative knowledge of everybody buying and selling during a specific time frame. Is there a difference in the summer session and the one in April? Not as far as information. The breaks will be different. We probably won't be putting on our bathing suits and jumping in a lake during April, but we'll be doing that during the summertime. But the information is still the same. Let's see. How do you know when to buy a stock when it is in a downward trend channel, such as WNC or ACCO, so you don't buy and then turn around and get stopped out? That's the whole reason you were buying those, is because they have broken out of the trend channel. That's the information we've got. And did it do it with force? Yes, it gapped up coming out of there. So the answer is the probabilities are extremely strong that if they broke out of this trend channel, especially with gap ups to get there, stochastics having a lot of juice, that means we've broken out of this downward trend channel. We're in a new trend. That was the whole point of this illustration right here, is when they gapped up through the top of this trend channel, that told you there was a new dynamic in the stock. You trade ETFs, Rich? I could if I wanted to. I just have more fun trading stocks. Oh, Don, the cooking will be unfortunately restaurant foods, but we got good restaurants right where we're going to be having our session. In the summertime, Sandy will be doing the cooking. I think last summer everybody had to pitch in. Oh, everybody did have to pitch in. Sandy had to fly back to Houston, so we all did the cooking. But nobody died, and we all put on a few pounds. When day trading, best way to determine when a stock gaps up whether it will continue. Look at your 5-minute chart and your 10-minute chart. See what they're telling you. These charts are because of the system. This is a CQG. I don't have the live trading on these charts because it's too expensive. I pay, I think, $1,000 for this charting system, and it would be even more if I did stocks. I've got other charts that were the live trades. So all this is demonstrating or giving us charts, but it's delayed by 15 minutes, which doesn't matter after hours because there's nothing trading. Do you use different settings for stochastics for day trading or swing trading? No. All the charts are all the same, whether you're trading off a 1-minute chart or a daily chart. The settings stay the same. Okay, regarding intraday trading on E-mini, do candlesticks give good signals on tick charts, say 500 tick? I don't know. I've never used the tick charts, traded off the tick charts. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. From what I understand, yes, they work just as well on the tick charts as anything else. Steve, you don't see the pre-market on TCNet. You just turn on your TV, either to Bloomberg or CNBC, and you'll see the pre-market futures on their little scrolling things or their boxes. I have joined the forum. Do you ever consider volume when selecting stocks for swing trading? Casper, the only reason I use volume is to make sure there's enough volume in the trade that I'm going to do that when I get in, I don't have to sit there for 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes to get filled. Same scenario for coming out. When I put in the trade, I want it executed going in and executed going out instantly. So I don't want to be, usually my minimum is 200,000 shares of a $5 stock. Anything above that is decent volume for the size of the trading that I do. Oh, it's at 8 o'clock Central Time. Okay. Is your system on Metastocks? They're still working on it. Oh, mercy sakes. I was supposed to call them. Yeah, we're still working on getting all the formulas correct for their system. Okay, I guess with that, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 12 seconds, do the next double line. All right. All right, Jim, do another double line. All right. Okay, that should give us enough here to. Now, where did it start from? Okay. A lot of them. So we're going to go through them fast. VSH. This one's doing a rounding bottom. This one, Doji. If it opens positive, you can be buying immediately. And DFS. This one, notice how this one has broken out through this downtrending channel, and it did it with a gap up. You just stay with this one as long as it doesn't close below the T line. Away. Getting a little bit toppy up here. You've got a bunch of dojis. I would probably use, well, you're close enough to the T line to say that if it comes back down through the T line after this many dojis, you want to get out immediately, even intraday, because that tells you if they didn't move it up, they were bringing it back down. Cameron. Whoops, not Canadians. Another nice little scoop J-hook type pattern. This one you can be buying on positive trading, breaking out into new territory. Starbucks. Notice this little mini scoop handle, slingshot effect. This one you just stay long until you see a sell signal. Honeywell, not heating oil. There's that little rounding bottom again. And these are just so effective that when you see these rounding bottoms and they start blasting, that means that pressure that has been building up now gets released to the upside. This one you hang on to as long as it doesn't close below the T line. HCA, good chart. Another one. Notice a series of dojis in here in decision, and I told you what the decision is. That means they're still taking this one higher. BWLD. Where did it go? BWLD. This is working out greatly. BWLD. Oh, this one has to open higher and trade higher tomorrow to stay in it. I would use the 84 level as a stop. If it opens lower and comes down there, they're coming back to test the T line. Not necessarily meaning the uptrend's over. Just means they're probably taking some profits at that level. So it needs to open higher and trade higher to stay in it. Zynga did a nice little doji that came right back to the T line, gap up. That means they're taking it up further. And VSH. We did this one. A doji, if it opens positive, you want to be in it. S.CE. Another nice little pullback. Notice right here on the T line, you had the inverted hammer moving positive after that. This one probably has more upside. Stochastic's heading up. Big hammer, bullish confirmation. Got everything going for it to be now in an uptrend. NCR, another one that can be bought on positive trading. Again, notice kind of the squeeze wedge here with a bunch of dojis. That tells you exactly what's happening. They've made their decision to the upside. ISIS. This one you just stay long. There's that little mini scoop or a rounding bottom. You're up here. at this point, I'd use, I wouldn't want to see any trading below today's low. If it comes back through there, that tells you the sellers are in. And FCN, this one you stay with. And this one needs to open positive. Again, it's going to move in the direction of how they open it after the doji. Just stay along with that one. RGR is kind of lollygagging, but it's still in this uptrend. Hasn't closed below the T line. But definitely would want to see this open positive tomorrow to stay in it. WNR, this one should have been closed out today. Uptrend, pullback. Uptrend, pullback should be probably equivalent to that pullback. So you're looking at somewhere down here. Then you can always look to buy it back. LNG, that's a nice rounding bottom breakout. This one you continue to hold until you see a sell signal. ACT-G. This one is probably going to come back up toward the top of the trend channel. So you've got a 10% move to get up into this area, which I would suspect that's where they're heading. RGS, another good-looking chart. This one you can be buying. Here's a case, too, where when you see them getting this close to the resistance level, lots of room in the stochastics. If they gap this up, they're going to go right through that level. You want to be buying immediately because that tells you not only is this resistance level not going to work or not going to sustain the trend, but if they go through it, that means there's going to be a lot more upside. PLCM. Another one coming back up. Wouldn't be as enthusiastic because it's got to get through the 200 and the 50. But if you own it, continue to own it until you see a sell signal. CLVVF. CLVVF. Symbol not found. Let's try S.CLVVF. No, nothing coming up on that one, Don. Baidu. Baidu's still having a hard time getting out of its own way. This one did a doji. If it opens lower tomorrow, you can be shorting this one. Now you have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 to the downside. Cree. This one with a kicker signal, consolidation, doji. Use these lows right here. If it comes back through there, they're coming back to test the T line. And PRLB. Same scenario. They're going to move this one in the direction of how they open it. Stochastics give the inclination that they should open it higher and keep taking it higher. STWD. This one did a little hammer harami. This one needs to open higher to stay in it. If it opens lower, close it out immediately. When you see that little hammer signal, that tells you the bulls are trying to take back control. That means they should be opening positive. When they open negative, that tells you the bears are in control. You want to get out of it right away. PHLM, this one you stay long until you see a sell signal. ZIXI, haven't seen that in years. ZIXI. This one you just stay long. As you can see, it's got a nice steady uptrend in the sense that it's staying above the T line. Take it up, consolidate it. Take it up, consolidate it. That's a good, strong trend because it tells you there's no enthusiasm building up in it. It's just a good, solid uptrend. Gap up in AMPE. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. I would probably be using today's open as my stop until the T line catches up. SSYS, another one where kind of a little doji indecision. Needs to see a positive trading tomorrow to stay in it. Yahoo. Yahoo's obviously coming back to test the T line. If you're not out of it by this point, because notice what you had up here, away from the T line, a left-right combo, weakness the next day, that told you to get out of the trade. They're probably bringing it back to the T line. Now, if the T-line doesn't hold, now you've got a short possibility. JEC's had a good chart. This one, also, you stay long until you see a sell signal. WPRT, nothing that I'd get wildly excited about because it's in a trend channel. That means if you bought it here, your upside potential is right here, only 2 points on a $34 stock. It's probably a good one to hold, but I wouldn't be going after it aggressively to trade it. I take it you're looking for Apple. S.AAPL. Finally got up above the T-line. If this opens positive tomorrow, now I want to make sure. Is there an APPL? No, okay. And SPX. S.SPX. It might not be the same symbol on here. Valero. This one you could be short. Should have closed it when it closed below the T-line. If you're short, stay short. Just watch to see what it does when it hits the 50, which would be corresponding with the where it gapped up. And Budweiser. This one you can stay long as it stays above the T-line. Nothing. This is again more of an institutional trader than it is a trader. SZYM backed off a little bit today, but if it comes back up through today's open, want to be a buyer because that tells you they're coming out of this J-hook type pattern. HLX, another good looking J-hook pattern. This one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying on a positive open tomorrow. Infa, same scenario. Kind of a little belt hold, mini belt hold. But the fact that they opened it right here on the T-line and took it right back up again, after a cradle pattern, after a scoop type pattern, that if they open this positive, they could be in a slingshot effect to the upside. That's it. I still like this chart very much. Nuance finally hit bottom and is above the T-line. Notice how they got above the T-line, a left-right combo after 3 dojis and a gap up. That tells me at least they're trying to bring it back up toward the 50 anyways. MGXG. Oh boy. S.MGXG. Still not working. SNSS. This one you should have closed out today with a closing below the T-line. Obviously a failure to the upside. All right, let's see what else we got here. DHI. Stay long as it stays above the T-line. ETFC. This one, I would definitely be a buyer on a positive open tomorrow. That's a very good looking chart. That could possibly be one of the recommended ones for tomorrow. Mainly because if you've got a strong price move and then profit taking, you want to find the stocks that have the strong price move potential because we don't know how long this uptrend is going to last. It might last another 3 days, might last another 3 weeks, but I want to be in things that when the uptrend is going gives me the highest or greatest possible upside return when that uptrend's still moving in the right direction. Another little rounding bottom breakout, especially when they gapped it up through this level and the 200. Stay with it until you see a sell signal. STEM, having a hard time getting out of its own way. Just too flat. Nothing here to create any great excitement. If I was going to buy this, I'd put a buy stop at 185 tomorrow. If it came up through there, that means they were breaking it to the upside. But otherwise, I wouldn't be chasing that one. This one, you can stay long as it stays above the T line. That's a kind of a double belt hold. Gapped it way down and brought it right back up again. It tells you the bulls are now in control. HHC, there's that kind of a cradle pattern up here. So somebody named this the bunk bed. So there's a bunk bed pattern. And then you had a double doji pattern, which tells you there's more upside to this one. ARCO. Bullish engulfing. This one, if it trades positive tomorrow, you can be buying. You just want to make sure it gets through the 200 very quickly. KERX did report earnings. I guess it didn't affect anything. It was still trading flat. But this one, if it starts trading positive tomorrow, you can be buying it because it's moving in the direction how they opened it after a doji. And GEVO looks a little bit soggy. Even if we magnetize this, it looks even more soggy. This one, as you can see, failed at the 50. They could be taking this down further. You don't want to be in it. I wouldn't want to be in it. This one was closed out when it knows how far away it was, and it came right back down to the T line. Now they're below the T line. This one you should be out of. And MNST, that big, huge shooting star signal with stochastic still heading down tells us there's probably still some more downside. If this opens lower tomorrow, you definitely can be shorting it. FIO. This one needs something strong to get it moving. You're almost running out of steam, though. It needs to get broken out through this downtrending channel. It needs something big to get it to indicate the bulls really want to control that one. PAL, inverted hammer Harami, bullish confirmation. This one you can be buying. Just be aware of what it does at the 50 and the 200. Zenga, ZIMT. This one ran out of steam. Too much selling going on right here. Probably would have been out of it with the close below the T line. Definitely would be out of it if it opens weaker tomorrow if I still had it. MJN. This one you can be shorting. That's a perfect rounding curve heading to the downside. That's the first decent chart I've seen. If this one opens weaker tomorrow, you want to be buying puts on it or shorting this stock. Oh boy, I'm going to just do the first three. Core's another one you can be shorting. Definitely if it opens lower, you want to be shorting on this one. HFC, same scenario. So I guess these are all shorts. Those are good shorts, Sam. Okay, Pay must have had, they have earnings come out. DMND did a doji, came back, tested the T line. If it opens positive, you definitely can be buying. It tells you the T line held and the 200 is not going to be breached. Marathon. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow also, J-hook pattern setup. And URI. URI doesn't look as healthy as what should be happening after that gap up doji. Actually, you had that left-right combo, so if you own this, the only way you can stay in it is on a positive open tomorrow and trading positive. If it comes back down through the T-line, you want to get out of it. And let me see what we have here. Gas. Gas, stay long. This chart looks basically like ABMD. Coming out of these bottoms, staying above the T-line. Okay, why is pay up then after hours? Any special reason? Facebook just has not intrigued me at all. Still nothing here that would make me want to get into Facebook. Matter of fact, I'd be more apt to go short at this point if they open it lower, because that tells us that this downtrending channel is still in progress. AH, is that a after hours, or is that a symbol? AH, bullish engulfing. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. PWE, nice cradle type pattern. Make this big enough. Then they showed support right away. Now they're showing a breakout here. This one you continue to own as long as it doesn't come back below the T-line. And SVU, stay long. You have a left-right combo right now. If this opens positive, you want to be buying immediately. IOC, staying above the T-line. Stay with this as long as it doesn't close back below the T-line. We just did a BMD. I figure your first target right now is the 200-day moving average, then see what it does when it gets there. ACAD. That's ACAD. Backed off a little bit today, but stayed above the T-line. It needs to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. And WFM. I think there's probably better places to be trading right now. Yeah, there's nothing that I can see on that one that would make me want to jump into that one. Deere. Yeah, that's a good looking chart. Wouldn't be afraid to be doing the options on that one. DJI. Coming out of that scoop. Let's see, you probably want to use today's low as your stop. It shouldn't come back down through there. It needs to open positive and trade positive to show that it's still coming out of a slingshot effect of that scoop pattern. And FTX, that's still a good looking chart. May not be wild and exciting, but it's going to stay in this nice steady uptrend. IMMR. That one's just hotter than a $2 pistol. Just stay with it. At this point, I would use today's low as my stop. I wouldn't want to see it come back down through there after a day of indecision. That would tell me they're probably coming back to test the T-line. Cisco, I've still got this one in the options package. This one, just stay long until you see a sell signal. SAH. Is that what? Let's see. S.SAH. This one has got a nice looking chart. Looking for wave 3. I would be a buyer of this one on anything above the open today of 23.45. That would tell me the J-hook's still in progress. S.TPC. This one you can be buying on positive trading. That's another good looking J-hook pattern. HLX, another one that you can be buying on positive trading. Another good looking J-hook. AutoZone. This one's just about ready to break out. Obviously an options play. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this on positive trading tomorrow. ADP, coming out of this rounding bottom, picking up steam. If you own this one, just stay long. It's going higher. And MCP. S.MCP. Oh, that's a fine howdy do. Looks pretty much like a bullish engulfing signal. This one, yeah, definitely buying if it came back up through the 20. We did Apple. We did WPRT. Yeah, this one, yeah, it's probably in an uptrend, but I think there's probably better places. We did Ford, SYNA. Another nice rounding bottom. That's a good looking chart. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. P10 is probably one of the runs we're going to recommend tomorrow on a positive open. And Bruce, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Goodyear having a hard time getting up through the T-line. Today was a left-right combo to the bearish side. If this opens lower tomorrow, you want to close out any longs and probably even start going short on it. Rig, another one that's having a hard time picking up steam. If this opens lower tomorrow, you got a doji right there on the T-line. Makes it very simple. It's going to move in the direction of how they open it. And if they open this lower, they're taking it down further. MNKD. Notice the rounding bottom, just slingshot effect. These are my favorites right now. ONXX. J-hook pattern, came up, failed at the 50, pulled back to the T-line and the 20, Morningstar signal, goes through the second time. Stay long until you see a sell signal. BAC, trying to get back up into new territory, but it keeps stalling right here at this resistance level, a dark cloud. It has to open positive and trade positive to think of staying long on this one. If it opens weaker, you want to close it out. That just tells you this was acting as a resistance level. RLGY. This one, Doji, if it opens positive, you can be buying immediately. And because that's, again, looking like a T-line crunch being pushed right up along the T-line. Obviously, that's why it's called a T-line crunch. Equix. That's a toughie. I think that needs more confirmation. That if you're in it, that has to open positive tomorrow. PQ's got a good looking chart. Stay long on this one. So you see a sell signal, which would probably want to see what it does once it gets to the 50-day moving average. Oops, that's Lean Hogs. S.HEK. Doji, if this opens positive, you can be buying it immediately. It'll move in the direction how they open it after a doji. BYD, kind of a J-hook, another one. But if it opens positive and gets up through the high, it's kind of breaking this downward trend channel, plus coming up off of a left-right combo. So I'd be ready to buy this one. Let's see, did we do DMND? This one you want to see, yes, open positive after it tested the T-line again today. SGEN, stay long until you see a sell signal. We did PWE, PER. The bigger the signal, the more compelling the change of investor sentiment. There's your doji away from the T-line, big bullish confirmation. This one you can be buying. There's more upside to this one. Okay. So we'll do a few that put it in after the signal. Let's see. RJet. This one has to open higher and trade higher to stay in it. Now, obviously, it's going to trade higher. And I say obviously. Probabilities are going to trade higher because it's in an uptrend. So I would suspect the uptrend to continue. OSUR. This one has to come back up through today's open to be to get in it. If you own this one, it has to open higher and trade higher. If it opens lower, it's still caught in this downtrending channel. NTAP. Left-right combo. If this one opens higher, you can be buying it. That left-right combo has a lot of influence. And DDD, I'm suspecting now, is coming all the way down to the 200 before you can see any new buying come into it. Let's see, MTW. This one you can buy on positive trading. Back up into the upper shadow, which was the profit taking today. If it opens back up in that level, that tells you the bulls are still there. Coach. Another one that can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. Needs to stay above the T-line. Home Depot. Stay long until you see a sell signal. And THC. Another one you stay long. There's wave 1, wave 2, starting wave 3. You still got, you're only halfway through. How about a trip on the Disney Fantasy? We could get my Cinderella daughter to show us around. All right, I'd like that. I've gone to Disney World a few times and always amazed at the amount of talent they must have as far as directing traffic. If they could just take some of that talent and put it into some of the major city rush hours, the world would be a lot better. Yes, I do hold stocks through earnings. I did sell half of KERX today because KERX wasn't telling me one way or the other. A flat. So I took half the position off with the idea that if it opens lower, I close out the position. If it opens higher, I buy that half a position back again. The other side of that too, guy, is that the going into earnings, the signals are going to provide you the cumulative knowledge of everybody buying and selling. So if the smart money, knowing what's going on in the company, is buying right before earnings, and they know the earnings are coming out, that should tell you something. Arcos, okay. MasterCard. I thought you were. MasterCard, not anything I'd get excited about, but it's still in a slow uptrend. And RFMD. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow into the profit-taking area. All right. Do we care that a lot of these stocks are getting way above the 200s? No. The 200 is just a moving average. What we want to see is what the signals are. And there's a lot of times where people won't invest in a stock unless they are above the 200. So the 200 is just an indicator. It's not a decision maker. TA needs to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. If it opens lower, it's coming back to the 50. BTU. Oops. S.BTU. Doji right on the T-line makes it very simple. If it opens positive, you buy it. If it opens negative, you sell it. HLTL. Might want to sell. HLTL. Am I doing that right? Yep. Can't even find it. BBRY. Oh, this one had a nice little breakout. Not a true signal, so you got to be careful. If there's really no, if it was a bullish engulfing signal, I'd be much more inclined to go after it. Let's see. TRQ. This one has to open higher to stay in it. If it opens lower, close out the position. ANR. Same scenario. It has to open higher to stay in it after this signal. If it comes back down through the T-line and the 200, it's getting back down to where it's coming back below the halfway point of the candle that told us the bulls were in control. All right, let's see. They missed by a penny. All right, thanks, Cal. That was on KERX. CMG, yes, it could be a candidate, but I would rather find something where I know there's strong downside versus a pullback in an uptrend. Right now, they're not telling me that they're even out of the trading range on this one. FFIV, another one that needs to definitely open positive to get into it or stay in it. That's what, that's what but I see on CQ or on TCNet that they did report their earnings tonight already. And Hershey, this one, all it is a steady uptrend. You stay with it as long as it stays above the T-line. Years ago, I took a 1929 Chrysler Coupe. Okay, 57,000 shares of KERX trades after hours, down 5 cents to 730. Yeah, that tells me that there isn't any massive selling. Yeah, on the pharmaceutical stocks, yes. The problem with the biotechs is they don't have earnings until they get something resolved or something developed. So it's just a matter of how fast they're burning through their money. RAX, yes, good possible short. And Carnival, another good possible short, yes. All right, a few more and then we'll call it quits. Caterpillar, this one you can be buying on positive trading. Joy, another one that can't get out of its own way. I wouldn't be long or short that stock. The short recommendations, I've seen 4 so far that look good tonight. MJN, KORS, RAX, and CCL. I haven't been looking for shorts because I don't think the uptrend's over with yet. Cradle and a J-hook. A cradle is at a bottom of a trend. Let's see. Trying to think of what the cradle patterns were. Okay, this is kind of a cradle pattern. Notice you had a big down day and flat trading for about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 days, and then a big up day. There's your headboard, there's your bed, there's your footboard. That usually comes at the end of a downtrend. Now a J hook is different, where it's just kind of a rounding bottom. J hooks. J hook is a pullback, not necessarily a cradle pattern, just a pullback, and then you see indecisive trading and the trajectory going back up again. A left-right combo is a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal, strong bullish signal, and or a doji followed by a bearish engulfing signal, very strong downtrend. Okay, let's call it a night. Greg, on RJR, nothing there that concerns me. RGR, as long as it stays above the T line, so it has to open positive. If it opens lower tomorrow, then I'll probably close out the options. The options price doesn't mean a hill of beans. It's a reflection of the stock price. So all you're doing, there's kind of a cradle pattern at the end of a little downtrend, and then look at, you have 4 or 5 flat, absolutely flat trading, and then a bullish candle. So that one's a good looking chart. Okay. Let's call it a night. Sam, I don't use physical stops if I'm here, because I'm usually watching the positions as I'm doing work at the computers. Kramer told the world to sell KERX on Friday. Yep. 3,000 dead pigs in China. All right. Yes, there's even websites set up to fade off of Kramer. Okay. Oh, TD, I don't know whether that's a big night or a small night. I think that's just kind of an average night. Yes, go ahead, Japanese candlestick. You can announce that. Okay, everybody have a good evening. No, the options class hasn't been rescheduled. We're just trying to figure out where we can squeeze it back into the schedule. Again, that was my fault because of the scheduling for up here, which was goofed up the schedule a little bit. So anyways, all right, we'll see everybody in the chat room. Have a good evening.